Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me again. I'm back, your movie guru, with another review. This time I'm going to be reviewing a film that I really wanted to enjoy. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Uh, None other than The Little Things. I premiered on HBO Max recently. Uh, I am going to give it a score up front. I give it a 6 out of 10. It's got a 48% score on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics, 63% score by the audience. Uh, and the reason why I wanted to love this movie, for those of you who know nothing about it, it's a mystery serial killer thriller type of film. Where you've got detectives trying to find out who's a serial killer. It's set in the 90s, early 90s. And they're trying to find this person, who this is. If you're a big fan of mysteries and this type of thriller, you will have seen this type of film before. It bears a lot of similarities to other films in the genre, but this one stars Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, who I'm a very big fan of, and Jared Leto. So right off the bat, that cast, I want to like this movie because I really like that cast. Jared Leto plays the villain, and as you guys will have heard me say countless times, characters make films and villains make films. And Jared Leto, I think, does a pretty good job of playing this villain. And I think it really shows a bit of his acting range in that. And watching him play this character, it's not similar to other ones that I've seen him play. And I thought he did a great job. And I think his character was becoming more and more interesting the more we found out about him. Unfortunately, where I think this film really falls is that in great movies, where, like I say, where you got great characters with great dialogue, the characters have to play off each other. They've got to have, even if it's a hero and a villain, when it's a great pairing, they enter this kind of dance, this predator and prey type of dance. And it's very interesting to see the back and forth and, the ebbs and flows of the relationship. And then even, for people that have seen detective dramas where you've got, or, buddy cop films where, even going as far back to, the Lethal Weapon series, things like that. And then more recently, the True Detective series with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. What made those really interesting is when you've got two characters, two personalities, that really mesh well with each other. Either it's, they get along well, or, they don't get along well, but it's entertaining to see. And with Rami Malek and Denzel Washington's characters, I believe they were too similar. Similar enough to the point where the rapport between them was just, it was kind of wooden, it was stiff. It really wasn't as interesting as I expected it to be. And I talk about this with films, pacing, does it have good pacing? Whereas you're not sitting, looking at your watch board, okay, when's the next action sequence? Or, this is just filler to get to the next part. I won't say that it had a big problem with that. And this film definitely decided to show more of an emotional side to it. Hey, these detectives and these people that work these cases, it takes a toll on them and, their personal lives. And, I thought that was interesting how it tried to show that. But even with that, I think at times it got a little too cerebral, and that it was too introspective of the characters, and not more so on the plot of the film, like, what's going on here. I'm worried about now what's happening going forward, and we're continually delving into the character. Sometimes I think that can work if the character is so interesting that I want to see more about them. What drives them, what's in their past, what happened before this. But both with Denzel's character and Rami's character, not to say that they were uninteresting or boring, but it really didn't leave you feeling like, I want to know everything about them because, they've driven me into that point. I want to know their past family life, where they're at now, what they used to do before this. It really didn't draw me in like that. And then perhaps the biggest issue I would say is the ending was, I'm not going to give away spoilers or anything, very anticlimactic. I get some films, try to have a more realistic nature to them where, everything doesn't end in, a nice tight little bow at the end. Everything's resolved. All the plot points are resolved. There's no mystery left. They solve everything. The killer gets brought to justice and they live happily ever after. So, I understand films that don't go for that. And, I appreciate those films who do it well. But with this one, I really think the ending left a lot to be desired in that it leaves you feeling incomplete. I don't mind it, some films where they leave the ending ambiguous to whereas, they leave you as the viewer to kind of fill in the pieces on your own based on the source material as to, what you think could have happened. This one, I didn't think it did a good job of it. And I think that the average moviegoer, if you go and watch this, I think that's a complaint that, a very common complaint that, if you watch it, your friends watch it, that a lot of people will say that, but that ending, I didn't like that ending. I don't like how they finished that. So given that, and like I say, and the rapport between the characters, and then the fact that, like I said, I think Jared Leto does a great job. His villain was really getting interesting, and then, based on the arc, like I don't think it really gets fleshed out. They tease this character, but you don't really get to delve fully into him. As much as they delve into the two detectives, the villain, like I wish they would have spent that much attention to the villain and delving into their backstory and, finding out more about them. Because I think that the villain was actually the most interesting character in the film. So given that, and not being able to flesh out this interesting character, the rapport between the two detectives, and then that I think anticlimactic ending, that's really what led me to give it a 6 out of 10. Especially for, I think, a film that was supposed to originally been played in theaters. This is a film that I think that if I would have went to the theater to see it, I would have walked out and said, I think I could have waited for that to come out, on TV and just watch it whenever. Which I will say that I am glad that it came out on HBO Max. I didn't have to pay extra for it. If you've already subscribed to HBO Max, just turn it on. I don't think that you'll hate it, but, if you hype it up and you expect, you coming into this thinking, oh, wow, get my popcorn ready, let me clear my schedule, I'm going to watch this film, I think that you'll leave a little bit disappointed. So 6 out of 10, that's my score. If you agree, disagree, let me know. Leave me a comment. We can talk about it. If you like what you see, once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for your support, and I will be there on the next one. Take it easy, guys.